the Pistol Shrimp. Do the Pistol Shrimp.
Welcome to the Shrimply Good podcast, the official podcast for Pistol Shrimp Baseball. This is episode 9 of the 2022 season, presented by Beaver Creek Golf Carts. Lucas Burris and Jayce Eustice here with you today, bringing you another edition, but a Tuesday edition of the Shrimply Good podcast. After a little longer week for Pistol Shrimp Baseball, we have an off day today. So this is where we bring you the podcast, and it's a good time to do so, Jayce, because only 4 games left to play, and all the fans want to know how the Shrimp are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was a little bit, I don't want to say a down week for the Pistol Shrimp, but a little bit different coming in, obviously, at 4-4, and we'll get into that. But definitely just getting ready for that home stretch, and we'll kind of spell out in this podcast basically what needs to happen over this next week to see the Pistol Shrimp back in those playoffs.
Yeah, I was looking at the same way. I looked at 4-4, and I said, I haven't wrote a 500 record most of the year. Now, 4 wins in a week is pretty good, but when you played 8 games in 8 days, 4-4 is, I think, okay as well. And that's why it's a tight playoff race, though, because the Pistol Shrimp,
doubt,
it's been tough in these last few weeks. And it was like 2 weeks ago, I think we were looking at it, and it was like, it's not our best week, but it wasn't a bad week at all. I think we were like 4-3 or 4-2. So for this Pistol Shrimp team, a 4-4 week is nothing to be mad about. And we'll get to that as well, because I want to start as well with just how good this team has been. We'll get to that as well in this podcast. But we're going to talk about this past week of Pistol Shrimp Baseball. We'll talk about some season stats, preview this coming week, talk about what's happening at Schweikert Stadium, talk about that playoff race. Like Jay said, talk about those theme nights. Let's do some leaderboards as we always do for the Pistol Shrimp. We'll do those Shrimply Good Players of the Week presented by Tangled Roots Brewing Company, and you'll have everything you need to know heading into the last 4 regular season games of the season for the Pistol Shrimp. So Jayce, let's jump right into it with a recap of this past week of Pistol Shrimp Baseball action. It all started on last Monday. So we're going to go Monday to Monday this week for the Shrimp. As I mentioned, 8 days, 8 games. We'll start on Monday, July 25th. It started with a loss to the Danville Dans, but a very close game to the Danville Dans.
Yeah, absolutely. This game played like a straight off playoff preview. And obviously, if the Pistol Shrimp are able to make the playoffs, they will be traveling to Danville. So this was just a little taste of that. It was played tight throughout. Danville ended up getting a run in the bottom of the 10th inning to grab that 3-2 win. Jared Herzog got the start in this one. He went 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs. Only one of them were earned. 6 walks, so a little bit of higher walk total than we're used to seeing from Herzog. 4 strikeouts as well. But then Evan Heine came in as well. He was really good. 5 1/3 innings pitched, a couple hits given up, a couple runs given up, and 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. So in this one, just the offense, they got enough to kind of hang in there. Just couldn't get that big blow to really finish the game off. Jared Quant 2 for 4 in this one. Kevin Parker was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a home run. Nice to see Kevin Parker really starting to swing a hot bat. Lucky and Evola also grabbed the other knocks in this one. But at the end, the Shrimp, they committed 4 errors in the field. They gave up 2 unearned runs. And we just all together as Pistol Shrimp fans, we got a preview of what we will be hoping to see come playoffs. And hopefully in that 1-game playoff, we get the better of the Danville Dans in that one.
I mean, that's the hope as well, Jayce. We've talked about it for about a month now, maybe even more, about how this team is very close to beating the best team that I have maybe ever seen in the Prospect League this season, the Danville Dans, because they have just been dominant. They are inching closer to a Prospect League record for most wins in a single season. So really, this Danville Dans team has been historic this regular season. They've been ridiculous. And the Shrimp team has been just as good, but not historic. I mean, that's the big thing for the Shrimp this year. We can't undermine how good they have been. And this is just another close game against the Danville Dans. But the reason the Pistol Shrimp were in this game, really good starting pitching and a 2-run home run by Kevin Parker Jr. That was it. That was this game. A 2-run home run at the top of the 8th, kept the Pistol Shrimp into it, ended up losing it in the bottom of the 10th. But a really, really tough loss for the Pistol Shrimp, but it showed that they can beat these Danville Dans. They had all the opportunities to do so in this game. We'll see the Danville Dans again this week. We'll get to that, but hopefully the Pistol Shrimp save that big win for Sunday. But let's move to the next game for the Pistol Shrimp as we move to Tuesday of last week, for the Pistol Shrimp picked up a victory against the Burlington Bees, a team we've picked up a lot of victories against this season.
Yeah, absolutely. They came back home and really bounced back after that tough Danville loss. And just kind of going through the lineup the first time, after they got through that first time, they turned the page and really got the offense going. Tucker Boozy in this one, he was good as far as just keeping his team within an early 4 2/3 innings pitch. He did give up 8 hits, 6 runs, 4 of them were earned, but 7 strikeouts and a walk. And then it was a bullpen game, and we've seen the bullpen be fantastic throughout this season. Zach Losey, an inning and a third, 0 hits, 0 runs, a walk, and a strikeout. Kevin Parker had a clean inning in relief as well, an inning pitch, no hits, no runs, a couple strikeouts. And then Harrison Bodendorf, we talked about him a lot on the Shrimply Good podcast and on the broadcast. He has really just gone on to another level in the second half of this season. He went 2 innings, no hits, no runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. On the offensive side, this was really the breakout game for Justin Rios. We've been waiting to see it. It seemed like he was grinding out a lot of at bats. That on base percentage has always been there, but he just couldn't find grass. Then all of a sudden, this one, 3 for 4, 3 RBIs, a couple of doubles for him as well. Tucker Bougie, after pitching, eventually came back into DH. He went 1 for 2, a big 2-run home run in this one. Jared Quant, 2 for 5. Ivan Witt, 2 for 5 with a double as well. So the Shrimp were down 5-0 heading into the bottom of the 3, and then they just exploded for 11 runs over the next 7 innings. They collected 13 hits. They struck out 14 Bs, and all that adds up to a nice win for the Pistol Shrimp.
Yeah, this is the Pistol Shrimp kind of victory we have come used to this season. It's one that kind of makes you think what's going on in the first few innings, and then it's oh, there's the Shrimp team we know and love who scores a big 9 runs in 3 innings. And then that Tucker Bougie shot that you mentioned, that was huge. It was a 9-3, it was a 9-6 game, and then 2-run home run made it huge. So for the Pistol Shrimp in this one, just a good team effort, picking up an 11-6 victory over the Burlington Bees. And the Pistol Shrimp moved to 6-0 against the Bees this season as well. So if you talk about a slump buster, the Bees have been that this year for the Shrimp as well. They've now stopped 2 separate multiple game losing streaks against the Bees this season by just seeing them at some point. So the Pistol Shrimp do face off against the Bees on Wednesday, just FYI for Pistol Shrimp fans, but a good victory here for the Shrimp, 11-6 over the Burlington Bees. They're 1-1 on the week, but then we would see the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes, and this would just be a really weird game for the Pistol Shrimp.
Yeah, no doubt. This just kind of ended up being a tough one to swallow. They played from behind throughout the game. They just couldn't seem to get that big hit to really tie the game up, really played from down 1, down 2 the entire game. Kept getting within 1, sparked a 2-run rally in the bottom of the 9th to get back within 1 after giving up 2 in the top of the 9th, but ended the game with the bases loaded to drop this one here at home. The pitching still in this one was solid. T. Conrad, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Jason Shanner came in for an inning of work to get himself started for his next start. He went an inning, no hits, no runs, and a strikeout. And then Nick Laxner got roughed up a little bit, which we haven't seen a lot from Lax. He's been really consistent so far this season. 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 runs, and 6 strikeouts. So a couple of bats that got it going in this one. Jared Quant was 2 for 5, a couple of RBIs, including a home run. Ebony Vola, 2 for 5, 2 RBIs, including a home run as well. So a couple of those guys that are finding themselves at the top of that lineup really starting to work on those power numbers. Lane, Watanabe, Johnston all got the other hits in this one. So just in the end, the Shrimp came close. They left 10 men on base in this kind of hard-fought game on Thursday against the Lucky Horseshoes.
So for the Shrimp in this one, you're just not sure, what could have went right, what would have went wrong, besides just a few appearances that got away from you. But the Shrimp do lose the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes 6-5. But again, the Shrimp will bounce right back heading into a doubleheader against the Normal Corn Belters. They'll pick up the victory in game 1.
Yeah, on Friday, they came in with a tough challenge, really in 2 aspects, in a tough opponent with Normal, and also having to manage 14 innings of work in that day as far as managing through that doubleheader as you're kind of looking at your end of the year pitching staff. And the Shrimp, they got it done in game 1, and credit in game 1 really goes out to Zach Losey. He went the entire 7 innings in that first game, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, only 1 of them were earned. 3 walks and 5 strikeouts. So we talked a few days beforehand with manager John Jackmick, and he said, hey, if we can get the full game from Losey and then Weatherly, who there pitched in game 2, we will take it. And Losey went out there and held up his end of the bargain. The offensive side, Zach Lane, 2 for 4, a couple RBIs. Jared Quant, 2 for 4, an RBI, 3 runs, including 2 doubles. Ivan Witt, we continue to talk about him. He seems to be always in that 2-hit category. He was 2 for 4 in this one, an RBI and a double. Jack Johnston, 1 for 3, 3 RBIs, including the double. So this was a well-needed win against a really good opponent, especially in the second half. The Corn Belters and Losey gave the other arms in this game I shouldn't say the day off, that game off, and then went the distance for the victory.
Yeah, this is what we were hoping for, at least from one of the two between Zach Losey and Ty Weatherly. We were hoping for a 2 for 2, but we'll get to what happened in game 2. But this was just one of the best starts from Zach Losey this season, who ended up going into that 9th inning with like 8 pitches to work with and ended up getting the job done. So it was just a really good start for him as well. And we'll highlight Zach Losey as we get to some leaderboard categories as well. He has really put his numbers up there this year as well. He's been really good for the Shrimp. His record moved to 4-0 with this victory as well. 7 innings, 4 hits, only 1 earned run and 5 strikeouts. That's a beautiful day of work.
You'll take that
for a complete game victory and a 7-inning win. This is just set the Pistol Shrimp to start, which was hoping for a 2-0 game against the Corn Belters. But we often see from the Pistol Shrimp, and we'll highlight it a little bit as well, is after a big run explosion, something happens that next day, or in this case, the next game, because even John Jakimick said it between games. He's very aware of how his team plays ball sometimes. He said, I got to hope that the bats are still here, because sometimes when we score 11, we don't score any. And that's exactly what happened in game 2. It was 11-2 victory for the Shrimp in game 1 and a 3-0 loss in game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on it. The bats just couldn't get going in this one, and the pitching kept it close. You got to give credit too, but on the offense, they were shut out by nice pitching performances by the Corn Belters in that game 2 game. Ty Weatherly, we talked about just a little bit earlier, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts for Weatherly. He's what we've come to expect. Maybe give up a run here or there, but those strikeout numbers continue to rise for him. And Harrison Bodenort came in for just a third of an inning, got a strikeout as well in this one. And the offensive side, really, it was a 2-for-3 game for Jack Johnson. He collected a couple base hits, and Alton Geiselman, who got a 1-for-2 game. But in a game where your offense only grabs 3 hits, you only walk 5 times, you just couldn't scrap across a run to get on the board to even just try to make the game a little more competitive. And credit to the pitching staff, because they kept that game close, where it definitely could have rolled a little bit further into the blowout territory, but just kept them right there within, maybe a big home run distance, but just no dice for the Pistol Shrimp here in this one.
Yeah, one of the quicker, well-played games we've seen this season from both teams in this game too is a really quick game 2 as well between these two teams. It was 2 hours exactly, as we're looking at the time as well, and it was just a well-pitched, a really good game. I mean, Weatherly struck out 11. Their 2 pitchers looked really good in this game. They struck out 7 combined, and the Shrimp bats just weren't there in game 2. And Normal just got a few big hits when they needed it to grab only 3 runs. And that was the ball game. That was game 2. It was one of the quicker broadcasts. It was a very quick doubleheader as well. We played 14 innings in like 4 hours exactly. So it was a nice doubleheader in Normal, but Normal, a really good second half team, a team you might not want to see in the playoffs as well, because they have an influx of talent from their collegiate league that Normal hosts. They're getting all those guys as that season has wrapped up in their 6-team collegiate league. So if you look at the Normal Corn Belters roster, you'll maybe recognize 5 players from the first 6 weeks of the season, because they have all these new players. But they're a very good team now as well, which it wasn't very good in the first half for the Corn Belters, really good in the second half. So to pick up a victory over the Corn Belters, a good sign here, split a doubleheader against a good team. But the Pistol Shrimp needed to bounce back after losing one, and they would against the Clinton Lumber Kings, who I think is a team that is just tired of seeing us at this point if you're the Clinton Lumber Kings. So the Pistol Shrimp would pick up the 8-4 victory in Clinton over the Lumber Kings.
Yeah, I think you can kind of put the Lumber Kings in those Burlington B category. I don't think they want to play us as we kind of wind down this season. So after splitting Friday's doubleheader, the bats came out with a fury Saturday in Clinton. The Shrimp grabbed 8 runs, but they still left meat on the bone too. They collected 18 hits, 12 men left on base. But really, the story in this one was Jason Shanner. He was fantastic. He went 7 2/3 innings, 2 hits, only 1 run. It was not earned, no walks, and 9 strikeouts for the North Central College product. He was fantastic in this one. Strom came in for an inning of, or I should say a third of an inning of work, got a strikeout, and then Herzog took it the rest of the way. 1 inning of work, 1 hit, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. On the offensive side, it was the North Central show. Justin Rios, 4 for 6 in this one, 3 RBIs, a couple of doubles. Jack Johnson, 3 for 5. Evan Evola, 2 for 5, including a double and RBI. Tucker Bougie, 3 for 5 as well. Quant, Lucky, Martyr, Geiselman, Watanabe also grabbed hits in this one. It was just a nice win in Clinton to kind of help get the week a little bit back on track. He dropped a few, obviously that tough one to Danville, dropped that kind of weird one to Springfield. And then obviously he split there in Normal. So just trying to get things back on track. And Jason Shanner went out there and delivered easily his best outing of the season.
Yeah, maybe the best outing we have seen all year, or maybe in the history of Pistol Shrimp baseball, said manager John Jakimick, because it was a dominant performance from Jason Shanner, who was just absolutely dealing. And like you said, big shout out to Justin Rios putting on a North Central style show.
Absolutely.
But for the Pistol Shrimp in this one as well, you mentioned, you can put the Lumber Kings in that Burlington Bees category. Well, the 2 teams will end up facing off 9 times this year. The Pistol Shrimp currently sit 6-2 against these Lumber Kings. So if you want to talk about 2 teams in Burlington and Clinton, they're tired of seeing the Pistol Shrimp this season. And we got to see them one more time each, because those are the 2 teams we will face off against this week, as well as the Pistol Shrimp will be at Burlington on Wednesday, and they'll face off against Clinton on Friday. So hopefully 2 victories for the Shrimp there. But what the Shrimp can do against those 2 teams. We just highlighted those 2 victories, but then the Shrimp would even keep the good times going a little bit further after that 8-4 victory against the Lumber Kings, which is just a normal Pistol Shrimp victory. 8-4 is a very common score this year for the Pistol Shrimp. We saw a very uncommon score for this Pistol Shrimp team. A 10-run victory. What is that, Jayce? Only the second time this season we have seen a Pistol Shrimp 10-run rule victory, 12-2 over the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes at Schweikert Stadium in 7 innings.
Yeah, and I think our offense, or definitely our staff, probably felt this was a little bit of a revenge game against Springfield. They got the better of us at the beginning of this week. They came back to Peru, and kind of one of those games we haven't had a lot of those 2:00 start times as far as Sunday going. And we talked about with manager John Jackman, sometimes, the offense doesn't wake up ready to hit, but they woke up ready to hit in this one. They came up after losing that game to Springfield on Thursday. They got out of the gates fast on Sunday, scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, and 5 in the fourth on the way to ending this game early in 7 innings. And Harrison Bodendorf got his first start of the season. I know we were talking right before we kind of went on air, before everything kind of started. We're like, hey, we're going to see Bodendorf get his start in this one. We're thinking, hey, maybe we might see that happen. And he was great. 6 innings of work, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts, really just continuing his dominance in the second half. Preston Kaufman came in an inning of work, 3 hits, an earned run, 0 walks, and a K as well to finish that one off. Justin Rios continued his hot streak, 2 for 4, a double, and 5 RBIs in this one. Jared Quant, a 4 for 5, 2 RBIs, the top of that lineup doing damage. Evan Evola right there in that 3 spot, 1 for 3, a couple RBIs. Zach Lane, a big 3 for 3, 3 runs, including a double. And Ivan Witt, 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs, including the walk-off to hit that kind of 10th run there in the bottom of the 7th. So Bodendorf was fantastic. What else is new so far? And the Shrimp were not messing around on Sunday. They came out swinging to get another one of those elusive, I should say, 7-inning win over the Lucky Horseshoes.
If you watch this Pistol Shrimp team, you feel like they should have had more this year because of how good they've been. But it's just not their style of play. They like to win close games. They like to come back. They like to make us sweat and figure it out. So this was a nice game as well, because 12-2 on a nice Sunday afternoon game. I was like, cool, we're going to be out of the ballpark by 4:30. And we were, which was super nice. Shout out to the Pistol Shrimp for not making us go a little bit further than we needed to as well. We ended up giving up a run in that top of the 7th, but it only took 3 batters in the bottom of the 7th to end up finishing off this game. So big shout out to the Shrimp Bats, who had already scored 11 runs, to say, we just need one more to go home early. And that's exactly what they did in this game. And again, like you said, shout out Harrison Bodendorf getting his first start of the year.
Man.
Probably should have been starting all year the way he just pitched right there as well.
No doubt.
He has been so good this year for the Pistol Shrimp. This staff continues to look really good. It was a 12-2 victory over the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes. But then last night, a very uncharacteristic loss for the Pistol Shrimp to end the week. A little sour note to end the week. And what was a pretty good week for the Pistol Shrimp? They would lose to the Alton River Dragons 9-2 at Schweikert Stadium. And what was a preview of what the River Dragons are going to do probably on Sunday, but hopefully nothing close to what the Pistol Shrimp will be doing on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've kind of talked about it throughout the season. And at this point, it may sound like a bit of a cop-out, but I'm going to continue to say this was just a strange game for the Pistol Shrimp. It was just they've had one of these games maybe every few weeks or so throughout the season. The Shrimp out-hit the River Dragons 9-5 in this one, but just really missed out on that big knock to really turn the tides in this. Jared Herzog got the start, 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts as well. And then we had a debut too. CJ Jensick, another North Central guy, came in, 3 1/3 innings pitched, no hits, 3 earned runs. That's right, no hits given up, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts as well. He was really good, just maybe stretched him out a little bit too far, trying to get him through that 4th inning. Daniel Strom came in as well, an inning and a third, no hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and Justin Rios with a third of an inning pitch as well. Evan Evola with 3 for 4 in this one, including RBI. Zach Lane, a nice 2 for 5. And Jack Johnson in his final game of the summer for us, he was a 1 for 4 with an RBI. Bougie, Martyrer, Maynard, they all grabbed knocks in this one. The Shrimp they walk only once, they strike out 10 times, they leave 8 men on base, and just kind of drop a rough one to finish up this season series against Alton and finish up the week at 4-4.
Yeah, the big offensive number in this one, Evan Evola with the big shout out here, going 3 for 4 with a run and an RBI. He had batted third now in 3 straight games for the Pistol Shrimp, found a little home there and has looked really good in that spot. So he had the one good offensive day for the Shrimp, who ended up grabbing 9 hits. But as you mentioned, for Herzog, an uncharacteristic start, just didn't look like himself, wasn't spotting pitches. His stuff still looked really good. That's how you strike out 6. but just a little bit of command issues. Just kind of looked, I'm going to say, a little fatigued on the mound. Just needs, I think, a few days rest,
a couple days off,
to feel a little better about he's due, because he's been so good this year, and we'll get to that as well. But just Herzog against a team that was preparing to do what they want to do on a playoff game Sunday, a tough Monday start on a hot day at Schweikert Stadium. But Jensick really came in and saved the day for Herzog, which line could have been worse. He got him out of a tough jam as he came in and finished off an inning. And then he pitched 2 really good innings of work, but his 4th inning, so his 3rd inning total, whatever numbers you want to go there, last inning he pitched, just the wheels fell off a little bit. And the best way to put it is this was a 4-2 game, and then the wheels fell off and it was 9-2. So if you just take away just a snowball inning, it's much closer. It doesn't look as bad, but the River Dragons just felt like they were inching to take advantage of some Pistol Shrimp mistakes. And then they just finally did for a 5-1 inning. So on the scoreboard, it looked bad because it's 9-2, but you give up 5 runs in the top of the 8th. The game was back and forth the entire time. Then it slowed down, and then it was just like, oh, it's 9-2. Magically, we have lost control of this game. And that was the game for the Shrimp. You got to flush it. You got to move forward. You have 4 games left, and the Shrimp do finish the week at 4-4. It was a good week for the Shrimp, as I mentioned. Some really good victories, some good spots, some really good players. So hopefully for the Shrimp, they can just keep that hot side rolling, flush that loss. Sometimes it's good to have a loss there because you felt it, you got it out of your system, and now you can move into the final 4 games of the season. But let's talk about how the Pistol Shrimp finished this week, Jayce, or how they stand coming into the final 4 games of the season. Now, 35-20 overall, 18-9 at home, 17-11 away, and 15-9 in the second half. They're second in the East Wabash River Division standings, but first in that playoff spot. The Danville Dans are 18-4. The Pistol Shrimp are 15-9. The Wabash Valley Rex are 15-10, and the Aviators are 10-15. But this team really good in a lot of those statistical categories.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that offensive side, a 272 team average was good enough for 4th in the Prospect League. Also, 101 doubles on the season, which is 2nd in the Prospect League, and 44 hit by pitches, which now leads the Prospect League. So that's Lucas's favorite category. Love to see his team getting up there. And then on the pitching side, we talked about it all season. We know this is one of, if not the best pitching staffs in the Prospect League. A 3.92 team ERA, even inflated a little bit with that last game at Alton. Still first in the Prospect League. 598 strikeouts, easily first in the Prospect League, and 401 hits given up, which is 2nd in the Prospect League as well. And then we've gotten better kind of on that defensive side. We're starting to see that fielding percentage go up a little bit at 955 fielding percentage, which is 6th in the Prospect League. And then also, how about 1426 putouts, which is most in the Prospect League as far as opportunities.
Yeah, we've really bumped up a lot of those categories, Jayce, in terms of hit by pitches, as you mentioned. I don't know if the Pistol Shrimp team will agree with me and happy and how many times they've gotten hit this year, but I do enjoy the statistical stat as long as no one's getting hurt. And that ERA, like you said, inflated. But those putouts, we have had a lot of chances out there in the field, and they have made the most of those chances. You know, fielding percentage was up to 4th, made 2 errors, dropped down to 6th, but they're still, I just say, a top 5 fielding team in the league. I mean, that's where they're going to sit. So you're happy with this team. They're a top 5 hitting team. They're the best pitching team, and they're a top 5 fielding team. That is a recipe for really good success. And hopefully you put all of your eggs in the basket for the playoffs and you feel really good about what this team can do. Let's talk about this coming week for Pistol Shrimp baseball. And then we're going to talk about what the Pistol Shrimp will need to do to grab that playoff spot on Sunday. So for the Pistol Shrimp, they are a half game up of the Wabash Valley Rex. And here is what's coming this week for Pistol Shrimp baseball. Wednesday, August 3rd, they are at the Burlington Bees at 6:30. Thursday, August 4th, they face off the Danville Dans at 7:05 at home. Friday, August 5th versus the Clinton Lumber Kings at 7:05 at home. Then on Saturday, our last game of the regular season, they'll face off against the Lafayette Aviators at 7:05 Eastern. So 6:05 Central, if you're going to listen here or watch at home. That is Saturday, August 6th versus the Aviators at 6:05 Central, 7:05 Eastern. And then on Sunday, if the playoff game happens, if the Pistol Shrimp clinch, we'll be at the Danville Dans for a 4:30 p.m. Central Time first pitch. So if we go to the playoffs, we'll have a 5th game this week. It'll happen as soon as the regular season ends on Sunday at Danville at 4:30. So the Pistol Shrimp, as we mentioned, they are 2nd in the division, but that doesn't matter because Danville won the first half. So for the Pistol Shrimp, they just have to beat the Wabash Valley Rex. They're still a half game up even after their loss yesterday. So for the Pistol Shrimp, Jayce, we have spelled it out for fans. I want to explain specifically as possible how the Pistol Shrimp will win a playoff spot. There is 4 games remaining. For the Wabash Valley Rex, there's 5. So they will play 30 second half games. We're only going to play 28 because we played an extra first half game and we canceled one of our second half games. This Tuesday game versus normal was rescheduled. It was canceled. So for the Pistol Shrimp, just 28 games in the second half compared to 30 for Rex. You would think that would be a factor, but honestly, it's not going to be a factor, just how the records currently are. So Rex will play today. The Shrimp are off today. And at the end of the day, we'll have 4 games left for each team. Makes it really simple there as well. We'll know what the records are and everything. But as of right now, here's how it's going to work. Jayce, do you want to take us through? I don't know if you want to just go down the line. I mean, we can explain it anyway, but this is what will happen. Every scenario, we have spelled it out for Shrimp fans.
Yeah, and we'll simplify it a little bit more towards the end too, if anybody's a little bit confused. But just for anybody who's really interested in kind of seeing how things are going to shake out or could possibly shake out, if the Shrimp in their last 4 games goes 4-0 and Rex goes 5-0, so both teams win all the way out, Shrimp will then lock in that playoff position. If the Shrimp go 3-1 over the next 4 games and Rex wins out at 5-0, Rex will grab that playoff position as well. So then as you start to go down, if Shrimp goes 3-1, Rex goes 4-1, Shrimp will win as well. And then it kind of alternates as you go down. If Shrimp goes 2-2, Rex goes 4-1, Rex will take it. If Shrimp goes 2-2, Rex goes 3-2, Shrimp will take it. If the Shrimp goes 1-3, Rex goes 3-2, the Rex will take the playoff spot. If the Shrimp only go 1-3, Rex goes 2-3, the Shrimp will take the playoff spot. If Shrimp goes 0-4, Rex goes 2-3, then the Rex would get the playoff spot. And if the Shrimp goes 0-4 and Rex goes 1-4, the Shrimp would still win that playoff spot.
So what you need to know is even if the Shrimp go 0-4,
yes.
If Rex loses 4 games this week, the Shrimp are still making the playoffs. And even if both teams win out, the Shrimp are still making the playoffs. The only issue is if Rex finishes with the same or less or more wins than less losses, there we go, for the Shrimp, that's when things get interesting. So you can go through what Jayce just says if you're confused throughout the week. That's why I want to spell it out for you. You'll be able to see exactly what happened there. But what you need to know is the magic number for the Shrimp is 4. The Pistol Shrimp need just 4 on the magic number. That means if the Rex loses, you -1, or if the Shrimp win, you -1. So if tomorrow the Shrimp win and Rex loses, the magic number will be 2.
Absolutely.
Real simple. It'll get real simple if we just win and they lose. But if we keep going back and forth, it's going to get weird. But the greatest part about the magic number is it doesn't change. Once it's down to 2, it stays at 2. You're not going wish-wash there. So for the Shrimp, just keep winning and hope Rex loses. But I wanted to spell it out there for you because if both team wins out, the Shrimp make the playoff spot. And if the Shrimp lose all 4 and Rex does pick up a victory, but then loses 4, we'll still make the playoff spot. And of course, Rex goes 0-5 for making the playoff spot because we're already a half game up right now. So
absolutely.
And then you can just move it up as well. So you'll know if Shrimp wins 1 game, then the only way they're going to make the playoffs is if Rex wins 2 or less is how this chart would work. Is thing. So if the Shrimp win 3 games, the only way they're not making the playoffs is if Rex goes 5-0. That's all you got to do. So go up the ladder, bottom of the ladder. Very simple way to look at it.
Yeah, and after today too, with Rex's game, that we could lower that magic number to today, even just on our off day with how everything works. So every Shrimp win and every Rex loss lowers that number.
Yeah, so that's all you need to know. Magic number is 4. Shrimp is -1 with a win. Rex is -1 with a win. So Jayce, that's what you need to know. Maybe I'll post that chart somewhere. Maybe we'll post it on the website or something. But that's what you need to know, Shrimp fans, for this playoff run. And if the Shrimp do make the playoffs, it is a Sunday 4:30 p.m. game at the Danville Dans. If we win that one, we could possibly host a playoff game at Schweikert Stadium on Tuesday. We're not going to get to that because that's even more standing.
There's a lot more things. Exactly.
But what you need to know is the playoffs is a 1-game playoff for the division championship, a 1-game playoff for the conference championship, and a 3-game league championship series. So the Pistol Shrimp would play Sunday, Tuesday, and then it would be Thursday, Saturday, Sunday is how that works. So that is what you need to know for the playoffs. All you need to know is the Shrimp need 4 on the magic number, and we'll play a playoff game at Danville on Sunday. But that is that. We will clear that out, write it down, come back to it if you need it. But that is what you need to know.
Just clip that.
We're gonna move on with the Shrimply Good podcast. All right, let's move now to what's coming up this week, Jason, in terms of theme nights. We previewed this coming schedule. We just talked about the playoff race and everything, but let's talk about what the fans are going to look forward to this week at Schweikert Stadium, our final 2 home games of the year. So fans need to get out to Schweikert Stadium and have a little fun for a Thursday and Friday game at Schweikert Stadium. Jace, let's let the fans know what's going on at Schweikert Stadium this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Our last 2 home games, we're going to be showing some appreciation starting there on Thursday is host, family, and staff appreciation night. Food vendor that night will be Doghouse of LaSalle. They will also have Tangled Roots Brewing Company giving out free tastings as well. This is just a chance to recognize kind of our shrimp staff and wonderful host families before and during the game for everything that they do for our players and for the organization as well. Then moving on to Friday, August 5th, our final home game of the season. That is, of course, Fan Appreciation Night to appreciate all of the Pistol Shrimp fans that have come out and supported this team throughout the season. Food vendor of that night will also be the Doghouse of LaSalle. Jessica Strouch, AT&T, and Run Today for tomorrow's tents will be there as well. So just be ready for the most deals, lucky numbers, on-field prizes, just a lot of fun going on throughout this game that everybody's just come to enjoy throughout the year. And we're just going to up it a little bit, just give out more items and just everybody at the ballpark should have a lot of fun there. And that last game, especially being on a Friday night as well, it should be a good fun time.
Yeah, we're going to clear out the stock for that fan appreciation.
Absolutely.
Well. So be ready for some deals and everything there. But we can't forget every game at Schweikert Stadium, including the final 2. We'll have beer from Tangled Roots Brewing Company, cocktails from Star Union Spirits, on-field activities for every age, the Shell Q $50,000, Shrimp Rattle and Roll, 2 more chances. We're not going to do those during the playoffs. So it's 2 more chances, Shrimp fans, this season to win $50,000. We'll have lucky number giveaways from Ferguson, Jersey Mike's Heritage Health, and the Illinois Valley YMCA. And of course, Mr. Sparkle Auto Spa's dirtiest car in the lot. So that's happened every game at Schweikert Stadium this year. And we've got all of it happening on Thursday and Friday this week as well. Remember, 7:05 first pitch for both of those games, Thursday and Friday. And hopefully you see 2 good, Shrimply Good victories. But Jayce, it's time for another exciting part of the Shrimply Good podcast. Let's look at those top 10 in the leaderboards for the Pistol Shrimp right now. Start on the batting side of things, where it's still the Tucker Bougie show.
Yeah, absolutely. He continues to kind of put in that MVP caliber campaign, and we'll see as things kind of go down the stretch. But Tucker Bougie, first in batting average among qualified batters at 364, second in on-base percentage at a 465, 5th in slugging at a 576. He's tied for 5th overall in hits with 55. Not to be outdone, though, Zach Lane tied for 2nd in doubles in the Prospect League with 13. Jared Quant, who's really come on as of late, tied for 4th in the Prospect League in triples with 4. Now going over back to Tucker Bougie. He's tied for 10th in home runs with 7th. He's 3rd in RBIs with 44. And Harry Martyr is up there, top 10 in hit by pitches with 9, tied for his teammate Chance Versetich, who's in that top 10 throughout the entire season in that hit by pitch category.
Yeah, so Tucker Bougie's had a really good year as a Shrimply Good Player of the Week a little earlier this season, but he's just been consistently good for the Shrimp. And now in the top 10 in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, hit, home runs, and RBIs. So talk about MVP numbers. There you go, Tucker Bougie. But we can't forget about our wonderful Pistol Shrimp pitchers, the best pitching staff in the Prospect League. Their numbers have continued to rise, and some fresh faces on these lists as well. Harrison Bodendorf now tied for 2nd in wins with 5 this season. Jared Herzog tied for 10th in wins with 4, along with Zach Losey, who's tied for 10th in wins with 4. And then Zach Losey now tied for 2nd because he grabbed a complete game. There's only been a few complete games this season in the Prospect League. He's now got 1 to his name, so he's 2nd overall. There's 2 Prospect League players with 2 complete games, so that is a rare feat, but he cracks into a top 10 we have not seen this year. And then we have those great strikeout numbers. Ty Weatherly 2nd, only 1 strikeout from the top of the Prospect League at 71. Jared Herzog is 5th with 65, and Zach Losey is 8th with 54. So Losey has really moved up. I mentioned that in his last start. He was not on any of these boards the last time we talked about them. Now on 3 of them. So a really good week for Losey as well. But Jayce, it was a really good week for a lot of players this week.
Yeah, it was. And go ahead. No, go right ahead.
All right, Jayce. I'll go, Jayce. I'll go. For the Pistol Shrimp here, we have not looked at a Shrimply Good Player of the Week for Tangled Roots Brewing Company this deeply in a long time. And we added another game too. So there was 8. Sometimes we'll have a week where there's like 5. Sometimes it's just the regular 7. But it was 8. We went Monday to Monday. we're sitting here today on the Tuesday. We're going through numbers. We're looking through, and I usually pull maybe 2 players. You know, you can tell who had a good week or not. I started with 6 and I broke my list down to 4. And then we decided from 4 different players. So what we'll start with is just the numbers for everybody and who was in the running for Simply Good Hitter of the Week. Because Pitcher of the Week, we'll get to that. We'll highlight that. We've already hinted at it. But 4 players were in the line for Shrimply Good Player of the Week. Jared Quant, Justin Rios, Evan Evola, and Zach Lane, because their numbers were ridiculous, Jayce.
Absolutely. Yeah, starting off with Jared Quant. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. Jared Quant, he had this week 36 at-bats, 13 hits, 8 runs, 6 RBIs, a couple of doubles, a home run, a walk, 2 stolen bases, and a hit by pitch. Good enough for a 361 average, an even 500 slug, and a 395 on-base percentage. And Justin Rios, 26 at-bats, 10 hits in those at-bats, 6 runs, big RBI numbers for Justin Rios with 12, 5 doubles on the week, 7 walks, a 385 average, a 577 slug, and a 515 on base percentage. Evan Evola, 26 at-bats as well, 10 hits, 4 runs, a double, a home run as well, 6 RBIs, a stolen base, 3 hit by, also a 385 average, a 578 slugging percentage, and a 448 on base percentage. In Zach Lane, less at bats than everybody else with just 15, but in those 15 at bats, 8 hits, 5 runs, a double, 2 RBIs, 4 walks, and a stolen base, a 533 average, a 600 slugging percentage, and a 632 on base percentage.
So those are the 4 players like that. And we could have blindfolded and drew from a hat and nobody would be upset, but we had to pick one. So Absolutely. You're looking at number of at-bats versus number of hits. You're looking at those average. So a lot of times we don't bring average into play that much. I'm just trying to see, you know, who had more hits, who had bigger power numbers. But really, those averages came into play. So Jared Quant, you had a great week. You really did. But you're not going to get it this week, Jared. I know you're talking to, I know you're listening right now, or your family's listening right now. Quant just missed out. He had more at bats, but he had a similar number of hits, only ends up hitting 361 in the week. So then I'm looking at those average numbers. He's hitting 361. And then I see the Zach Lane average at 533. And you look at that and you go, it's really good. But he only batted 15 times. His run total, his RBI total kind of down. So he's losing out on the Shrimply Good Player of the Week because the other numbers weren't there. It was limited at bats for Zach Lane. So then you're looking at Evan Evola versus Justin Rios. Same average for those two. Both hit 385 this week. So you're like, what do we do? But then you go a little bit deeper. Rios slugged better than Evola. He had a higher on base percentage, and he picked up 12 RBIs this week because Justin Rios is our Shrimply Good Player of the Week this week for the first time this season. And he will be joined by a North Central College teammate as Jayce. Our pitcher of the week this week is
Jason Shanner.
I was leading you into it.
Without a doubt. Jason Shanner was fantastic. He pitched in 2 games in this one. He got the start, got a win. How about 8 2/3 innings pitched, 2 hits given up, 0 earned runs, 0 walks. That is huge. 10 strikeouts. And it just, put it simply, a 0 ERA. He was absolutely fantastic. Jason Shanner, it has become, at least in the back half of this season, it is the North Central show, and I'm sure you were very happy to see it.
I'm very
an alum as well, but just a well-deserved honors for Justin Rios and Jason Shanner. Both of these guys were Shrimply too good this week.
Yeah. So to recap for you fans, those are our 2 Shrimply Good Players of the Week presented by Tangled Roots Brewing Company, both North Central College baseball players, Justin Rios and Jason Shanner. Rios hit 385 this week with a 515 on base percentage, a 577 slug, 12 RBIs in this week, along with 5 doubles and 7 walks. And then for Shanner, he picked up a huge start this week, went 7 2/3 innings of work, maybe the best starting pitch performance we have seen all year, and added a really clean inning in relief as well. 10 strikeouts, a 0-0 ERA, and 8 2/3 along with a win will get you a Shrimply Good Player of the Week every week. So Rios and Shanner, those are our Shrimply Good Players of the Week this week. And another edition of the Shrimply Good podcast has come to a close. Jayce, 4 games left. What are you looking forward to this week?
I'm just looking for the Pistol Shrimp to continue to play the type of baseball that they played throughout this entire season. And that's just knowing what they do best. That's relying on that pitching, getting timely hitting, and getting that extra run. Get back to getting that last guy maybe stranded at second and third with 2 outs, that extra single, just pushing across those extra runs, because when you get down the stretch, every win is important, every game is important, and every run and every pitch is just as important.
So for the Pistol Shrimp this week, we're hoping to see you again on Sunday as we have a playoff game at Danville. And if we do play on Sunday, we'll see a Shrimply Good podcast that following day, maybe, hopefully previewing what could be a Tuesday home playoff game. We'll just have to wait and see this week.
Never know.
Make sure you're tuning into all things Pistol Shrimp baseball this weekend, heading out to the ballpark on Thursday and Friday this week. But for everything Pistol Shrimp baseball, check it out on the Pistol Shrimp Radio Network and on Prospect League TV. So the Pistol Shrimp Radio Network will have all 4 games this week, including if we have a game number 5 on Sunday. Myself and maybe Jayce with me will be there on Sunday for a game on the radio. So that's the Pistol Shrimp Radio Network online or on your phone. Go to pistolshrimpbaseball.com or download the Pistol Shrimp Baseball mobile app. And if you want to watch the games this week, if you're not going to be at the ballpark, remember, you can always watch on Prospect League TV. Just go to prospectleague.tv to learn more. But there's a lot happening this week. Make sure you're checking out our social media. Make sure you're seeing everything that's happening, and head to the ballpark for the final 2 regular season games on Thursday and Friday this week. But thank you for stopping by episode 9 of the Shrimply Good podcast presented by Beaver Creek Golf Carts. For Lucas Burris and Jayce Eustice, thank you. Fear the claw, and we'll see you next time.
Do the Pistol Shrimp. Do the Pistol Shrimp.